All right, raise your hand if you've given Michigan State a chance to win the Big Ten championship at any point this season. Yes, we saw early in the campaign that Michigan State was much improved from the 3-9, 1-8 in the Big Ten debacle in 2016. But this, over a team that, despite a loss to Ohio State last week, most of us still consider to be one of the 5 or 10 best teams in the country in Penn State, a 10-point favorite against Sparty. And Michigan State gets the job done, winning at home over Penn State 27-24. It took a long time because it was a noon kickoff, and the game finished up around 6:30 or 7 o'clock Eastern time. Michigan State with this win, so you can look at it two ways. It blows up the Big Ten in regards to college football playoff possibilities. It pretty much rests on the shoulders of the Wisconsin Badgers at this point because the system's flawed, and I've addressed that many times. 5 conferences, 4 spots. Doesn't make any sense. You could have a really strong conference that beats up on each other anyway. But in regards to a Big Ten championship, which is a tremendous goal to have, a tremendous objective, it should not be downgraded because of this college football playoff business. It's actually a tangible objective. You know what you need to do to win the conference championship. And Michigan State, Sparty fans, you should feel comfortable in this situation, despite going on the road next week at Ohio State in Columbus, and you'll be a double-digit underdog again. You've done this before, and Michigan State did it to Penn State this afternoon. L.J. Scott only got 14 carries for 43 yards. Michigan State has now become pass-happy Big 12-type team. Brian Lewerke put it up 56 times in this game, 1 week after throwing it 57 times in overtimes included, of course, against Northwestern. 33 of 56 for 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick for Brian Lewerke. And I was all over the place, of course, watching games as I typically do and have a number of monitors on. The passes that I saw that I was really focused in on Michigan State's offense, Lewerke was on the money on downfield throws. He has improved tremendously as a downfield passer from the first few weeks of the season. L.J. Scott, again, just 14 carries for 43 yards. He came into the game with fumbling problems, 7 lost fumbles, not just total fumbles, lost fumbles in the last 17 games. So Trace McSorley comes out. He throws an interception at the end of a drive. Lewerke takes over, completes a 3rd and 19. That drive stalls. Okay, Penn State with a 95-yard drive. That opened up the scoring. Saquon Barkley took a direct snap, cute play where he threw the pass, where he ran to the line of scrimmage and delivered a little pop pass. You had McSorley delivering to Deshaun Hamilton, the all-time Penn State reception leader, to make it 7-0. It looked like the Nittany Lions might be off and running in this one, but Stewart had a big game. The Michigan State receiving core, Felton Davis, had a huge day in this one. Let me check out Stewart's statistics on this one. Darrell Stewart, 5 catches, 65 yards, outleaped Apke, the safety for Penn State, for the first touchdown in the game, 7-7. Michigan State converted a number of 3rd and long plays that you would not in any way, shape, or form thought was capable earlier in the season with Lewerke at quarterback. But there was one play in particular. I mentioned the play to Cody White. Also a key play in where Felton Davis on a 3rd and 11 came back for the ball. Actually, that was a 3rd and 19 play as well. They converted when he came back to the ball. The throw was on the money. Felton Davis, 12 catches for $181 and 1 touchdown. Perfect placement on 2 consecutive passes when Lewerke hit Hunter Rison on the fade route right over the shoulder, and then on the other play just after it, in which he was rolling right through across the field and laid in a perfect throw over the linebacker, and Penn State led this thing at 21-14. Marcus Allen, it was unfortunate. He's one of the better safeties in the country, with a roughing the passer penalty on the final drive for Michigan State on 3rd down. Score tied at 24. Otherwise, Michigan State would be punting in that situation. We'd most likely be headed toward overtime, although Penn State would have had some time with about 20 or 25 seconds left to play to do something with the ball at that point, but it put it on the leg of Matt Coughlin. 34-yard field goal, closed out the scoring, closed out the game, final play of the game, did the Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose slide in the middle of the field, a la a celebration that was a bit different in style, but in terms of attitude, very similar to the Michigan State win and the final kick against Ohio State that won the Big Ten East 2 years ago in Columbus, 17-14. So Spartan fans, you got some mojo going. It feels good to be a Michigan State fan, up from the ashes, knocking off Penn State and Michigan. Can they get the trifecta in Columbus next week? Should be extremely interesting. Mark D'Antonio. It was mentioned a number of times today that aside from Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State, during D'Antonio's tenure, he's taken down the most top 10 opponents, aside from those three schools, than anyone in the country. Michigan State alive and well. The Big Ten, maybe not. We'll address that situation a number of times, I'm sure, this week. But for Michigan State, they win 27-24. They hold Saquon Barkley to 63 yards on 14 carries. And so Ohio State's playoff hopes are buried today, and J.T. Barrett's Heisman Trophy bid at the same time. Same deal with Penn State. The playoff gone, and Saquon Barkley's trip, maybe not to New York, but you got to think with the numbers that Baker Mayfield is putting up right now against Oklahoma State and what's going on elsewhere in college football, that Saquon Barkley, with disappointing efforts against Ohio State and now against Michigan State in the two biggest games of the year after they beat Michigan, would not be able to secure the Heisman. All right, so that's the schedule in the Big Ten Eastern Division. It's all about Michigan State, Ohio State, and we'll see what plays out after that. Big Ten fans, if you're just rooting for the conference, you got to be a Bucky Badger fan at this point. It all rests on Wisconsin. We will talk it up, I'm sure, a number of times this week. Would like to get your thoughts on Michigan State, Penn State, of course, the world of college football as we discuss it each and every day right here on Mark Rogers TV. So subscribe to my YouTube channel for analysis, just not from myself. So most YouTube channels, you jump on and you see the one guy who talks every day about college football or his favorite team and goes crazy. Here, you actually get some in-depth logical analysis. And again, not just saying it's coming from me, from the best bloggers and broadcasters in college football. So please join us here. We will definitely give you a voice and answer as many comments and questions as we possibly can, and love the debate and discussion amongst yourselves right here on Mark Rogers TV.